Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, Opposition Leader Pennelope Beckles is calling on the Minister of Health to state clearly what contingency plans are in place amid reports that nurses may withhold extra duty services over the government's move to standardize pool rates. Beckles warned that any form of protest action by nurses could significantly disrupt the healthcare system, raising serious concerns about patient care and service delivery. Nurses and midwives in Trinidad, particularly under the North Central Regional Health Authority, are protesting on a March 2026 directive to standardize pool rates to 2013 levels, which they say effectively reduces pay. The Trinidad and Tobago Nursing Association is protesting the use of old rates that ignore modern specializations. Nurses have refused to work pool duty, optional extra duty. That's what it is really. At the revised rates effective March 1st, 2026. The TTNNA states the rates are based on 30 to 40-year-old structures that exclude modern specialties like oncology, trauma, and dialysis. While fighting for higher compensation, the TTNNA has secured agreements on overtime, which is the most important thing though, overtime pay, for work beyond scheduled shifts, and aims to abolish unauthorized acting roles. Now, of course, PNM being hypocrites again, because they never really sought the needs and the rights of any of the public servants here in Trinidad and Tobago. All of a sudden they care. They didn't care for 9.5 years, but they care now. But nevertheless, the concern is a legitimate one, and not because it's PNM that raising the issue means that I'm actually going to just downplay it or anything like that. Let's just hope this whole issue is resolved. Don't go anywhere. More local, regional, and international news up next.
So that you don't have a situation where the moral of the nurses are clearly, this is something that is not going to incentivize them. They are not going to feel that nursing is a valued profession the way this government is operating. So I'm calling on the minister, please clear the air so that this protest that the nurses are going to have, because they are of the view that you are interfering with their terms and conditions without consultation, without even dealing with them fairly, and without acknowledging that this was a situation that was in place for years. Further to that, as a country, we know the duty that we owe to the nurses, particularly following COVID. We know the commitment, we know not just the challenges, but we understand what nurses and doctors did for Trinidad and Tobago during COVID. But in less than a year, consistent with their policy dealing with CPEP, dealing with URP, dealing with so many people who have lost their jobs, you come again with another measure to demoralize the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Now you have to tell the people of Trinidad and Tobago, is it a budgetary issue? Is it a budgetary issue, or is it that you simply wake up almost a year later, because we are just going to be a little more than a month away from the election. Is it that you just wake up and you decide that you are going to align and standardize? Because there is a cabinet note. I'm sure that there must be a cabinet note that would have given instructions first and foremost as it relates to the pool rates. But there must be a cabinet decision now that would have said, listen, you are going to rescind that decision that was made some time ago, and you are no longer going to deal with giving people this extra duty. So the government has to come clean, and they must say to the nurses, the Minister of Health must come and make it abundantly clear and say this is the new policy of the government based on a cabinet decision to deny the nurses this pool rate that has existed for a very long time. And if you are removing that, what is the alternative?
The Toko community became a hub of opportunity, access, and empowerment as government services stepped directly into the hands of the people. Under the patronage of the Minister of Culture and Community Development, Michelle Benjamin, a very hard-working minister, and in collaboration with the MP for the area, Wayne Sturge, a guy that should have never been the MP of Sangre Grande, the community outreach initiative transformed the Toko Regional Complex into a one-stop connection point for social support, youth development, and essential services. I don't think he's representing the Sangre Grande, the Toko Sangre Grande region properly at all. Not to mention, he doesn't reside in this area, and therefore that sort of practice needs to stop. If somebody is an MP, ensure that they're living in that community, in that area, please. Like Andy Williams, who lives in, I think, Valencia area. He would have represented the United National Congress much better in this area than Wayne Sturge.
These outreach have a follow-up aspect where we are taking note of everyone that comes to the different desks, and we'll be able to follow up to make sure that whatever issue they came with, that it was resolved. I am kind of overwhelmed. I didn't expect so many persons to come out. Initially, we were thinking around 100, but we would have crossed that marker. Given the geographical layout of Toko, you would appreciate getting to this location. Was kind of difficult for some of the villagers, but thankfully the minister, which is the MP for the area, Mr. Sturge, and the councillors, they band together and make sure that the villagers and constituents were able to come out to this location and appreciate what the government is doing for them today. After today, as I tell you, we are going into the constituency of Siparia and then Tamiaro, but also the follow-up aspect. So immediately 3 days, I give the different agencies 3 days to compile the data, and then my secretariat and the ComDev department reaches out to them, and we start the networking to make sure solutions. This is solution-oriented, so it's not a one-off.
Chairman of the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation, Kenwin Phillip, gave his thoughts about the initiative.
So I must compliment the Minister of Culture for hosting this outreach program. I'm very pleased. The booths that we see here this afternoon is some of the main concerns persons in the region would have come to the office to raise. So I'm happy to see and know that the Minister would have heard the plea that the people of Sangre Grande, Toko area to be exact, for hosting this event here.
Representative from the Sangre Grande Regional Corporation's Public Health Department, Gabriella Dixon, spoke about the involvement of the department at the outreach.
Ms. Dixon, tell us about the involvement of your organization here today.
Okay, well, we are here today to showcase what it is we do for the public, the services that we offer, which are, well, I could just name a few because it is a lot. Just for this department, we do like cesspool services, we do food badge, we do business registration.
The Trinidad and Tobago Cancer Society was also on hand conducting prostate-specific antigen testing.
From assistance to opportunity, today's activities is a clear indication that when services meet people, communities move forward. Reporting for TTT News, I'm Karen Brown.
Education Minister Dr. Michael Dowlath extended best wishes to students sitting the secondary entrance assessment today. Today is SEA. In a message to Standard 5 pupils, the minister commended their hard work and dedication. Of course, he did this yesterday, noting the sacrifices made in preparation for the exam. He's encouraging students to remain calm, have confidence in themselves, and give their very best as they write the assessment. Pray in Jesus' name that He will keep you calm, open up your minds, and understand that you are capable of accomplishing everything that you're setting out to do today. But even if you falter, you fall short, understand that you're a human being. No one is perfect, people. We don't always make the best of perfect marks in anything that we do. Even as adults, we fall short. Even in my videos, I make so many different errors. Many times I have to do over portion segments of my videos because no man is perfect outside here. And therefore, even if you fall short during the SAA exam and you didn't end up receiving the marks that you were hoping for, thank God for what you accomplished. So you know what, Lord? This was what This was the best that I put forth. This is the best that I could have done. And know that in the future you can still even do better. Don't put any pressure on yourself, even if you did not pass or get the grade that you wanted, or even if you didn't end up getting your first choice. Understand and be satisfied knowing that you put your best effort forward.
To all our students preparing for the SEA examinations, I want to wish you the very best of luck. You have worked hard, you have made sacrifices, and you have put in the effort. Now it's your time to shine. Stay calm, believe in yourself, and give it your very best. Remember, this exam is just one step in your journey. It does not define who you are or all that you can become. To our parents, I know this journey has not been easy. You have supported, guided, and stood by your children every step of the way. I encourage you to remain calm and reassuring. Your confidence will help them feel at ease. To our teachers, thank you for your dedication and commitment to shaping our nation's future. Students, get your rest, eat well, stay focused, and walk into that exam room with confidence. You've got this, and we are all proud of you.
For Thursday, March 26, 2026, Trinidad and Tobago can expect generally sunny and breezy conditions with a 30 to 40% chance of light or moderate showers, particularly in the afternoon. Conditions: sunny and breezy with a low to medium chance of afternoon showers. Nights will be fair and cool, featuring a light breeze. Temperature: Trinidad, Piarco, high around 32 degrees Celsius. Tobago, Crown Point, high around 31 degrees Celsius. Low, 23 degrees Celsius to 24 degrees Celsius. Humidity, 65 to 85%. Sea conditions: seas will remain moderate with open water waves between 1.5 meters to 2.0 meters and below 1.0 meters in sheltered areas. Air quality: a moderate concentration of Saharan dust remains in the atmosphere. Sensitive individuals should continue to take necessary precautions. Wind: expect easterly winds between 10 to 35 kilometers per hour, occasionally becoming gusty near showers.
Regional news now. President of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union, Oswald Robinson, says he remains adamant that he will continue to defend the rights of teachers regardless of which political party is in power. I hope that means that he was doing it when the previous administration was in office. Following the union's first meeting with the new Minister of Education, Robinson told SVG-TV News that the executive was pleased to have started dialogue. However, he noted that certain teachers' benefits and vacation entitlements still require clarity. Speaking on the union's radio program over the weekend, Robinson suggested that concern that members could take to the streets in protest if their concerns are not addressed. Once again, I just asking the question, did you protest? Did you raise these concerns while the former administration was in office? Yes or no? I know I believe that people are even viewing my videos from the St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So comment and let us know.
Reach to that stage, but sometimes you have to say these things to get the authorities to see how serious some of the things that are to be done and some of the things that are hanging. You have to make this it's part of advocacy. Protest is a trade union right. You're not going to create any violence. I never said we're going to bring down the government. And I saw people making those comments. I said we will get rid of the Minister of Education if we continue down a kind of road. Because it is not easy when you enjoyed a benefit, you accumulate this benefit for decades, and all of a sudden somebody's coming with a radical move without sitting down and having proper dialogue. Once any authority does something that is not in the interest of education and our teachers, we speak out about it. It has nothing to do with government. We held a protest in 2015, a one-day protest against the former government. We also had protests with the vaccine mandate. We spoke out about conditions of schools. The TV came and interviewed me when Thomas Under schools had a problem with dogs and fleas. We spoke about the GPUs at school. When the ministry closed it, they said they didn't know. Teachers were upset. So why did they close it? So the union has always been engaged in some kind of social action. It's sad that it came over that way on both sides, but I mean, you know, when you're in the trade union movement, if you don't speak for your members, they may feel that you are in a hand and glove situation, you know, and I try to be objective. The government do good, I say do good. If you do bad, I say do bad. At the end of the day, we still have to work together. And sometimes people in the public don't understand that. They think you as an individual looking for something personal. And by now, everybody should know that I am not looking for anything. You understand? I just want to see justice. The Adriana King is another issue. If we have to protest, that is one of the things we have to protest for. But we're giving the opportunity for the relevant authorities, because we wrote a letter to the cabinet to ask them to state their position on that.
UNICEF, alongside Asuria Guyana, have partnered to promote a healthier lifestyle among adolescents in Guyana. This partnership in health, called Catalyzing Healthy Lifestyles for Adolescents in Guyana, represents more than just a formal agreement. It signals a shared commitment to improving the health and well-being of children and adolescents across the country. By working together, both partners are investing in a future where young people are empowered to make informed choices about their health and their well-being. But at the end of the day, people, it's all about freedom of choice. Yes, I want people to follow a better and a healthier lifestyle. But don't try to put any sort of laws or policies in place to prohibit people from purchasing whatever they want to consume. As long as it's approved, as long as it's usually approved internationally at an international standard, don't try to do like some places and try to prevent certain things from being consumed and stuff like that. I find people are taking it to an extreme level nowadays. Jamaica's Finance Minister Favour Williams has raised concerns about order splitting, a practice in which shoppers divide large online purchases into smaller packages to remain under the US $100 duty-free threshold. So she wants to go and tell people how much they can or cannot order at a time. But telling you, all of a sudden, you were not doing that all the time, Andrew Holness. What are you doing? Why are you targeting your citizens at a time when there's an economic crisis? Now people need to order bit by bit. You're trying to tell them what they're trying to avoid paying taxes. Closing the budget debate on Tuesday, Williams said that while the threshold was intended to provide relief, and the unforeseen consequence is that no revenues flow to the Treasury. My response: stop attempting to tax your nation into recovery and prosperity, Prime Minister Andrew Holness. I don't know what's going on with this minister that you have there. All you're going to do is reduce the purchasing power of the mass population. Those so many videos that are trying to use that strategy will end up going to have no choice but to stop operating their businesses if they have to pay those extra taxes. I'm sure they already have to pay tax, income tax, You want to come now and find a way to be able to tax people with these duties. You're making some serious errors at this point in time, Andrew Holness.
When the de minimis threshold was increased from US $50 to US $100, it was not expected that we would see splitting up of orders to avoid taxes and duties. By splitting up, I mean the instances in which if you're ordering from the same vendor, instead of making one order, you make multiple orders. Take a scenario in which you're ordering 2 items and they cost $100 each. That's a total of US $200. Packaged and shipped in one package of $200, there would be tax on the CIF. Instead, what we're seeing is a splitting of the orders to fall within the US 100 de minimis allotment, and an increase, Madam Speaker, sometimes I could characterize it as a deluge in the number of US 100 and undervalued packages. Madam Speaker, the unforeseen consequence is that no revenues flow to the Treasury. And I must add, Madam Speaker, that is quite regrettable and was simply not the intent of the de minimis policy. Again, Madam Speaker, forgive me if I'm being pedantic, but it is imperative that everyone understands what I've shared. And when I draw a reference to our local retailers, it is because they are feeling the impact of untaxed goods coming in. And one way, well, they are feeling the impact. So, Madam Speaker, to the opposition spokesman on finance, I trust this explanation clarifies your assertion.
The Aircraft Accident Investigation Authority in Bahamas is investigating an aircraft accident at Mayaguana Airport shortly before 1 p.m. yesterday. Preliminary reports indicate that a U.S.-registered Piper PA-46 en route from Puerto Rico to Exuma with 2 people on board reported engine trouble and diverted to Mayaguana, where it exited the runway after landing and came to rest in nearby bushes. Both occupants are receiving medical attention, though the extent of their injuries is unknown at this point in time. I hope that they do recover fully in Jesus' name. Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister in Barbados with responsibility for youth and culture, Senator Shane Archer, officially announced the highly anticipated return of the Soca Monarch competition. So wait, so let's stop it just like how PNM stopped it here in Trinidad, framing it as a vital platform for young entertainers to gain the global exposure enjoyed by icons like Alison Hines.
I am proud to announce today the return of the Soca Monarch. Yes, Mr. President, the Soca Monarch is returning, and it's coming back with force. It is coming back with excitement, and it is coming back with a top price similar to that of the pick of the crop, sir. Because our young people and our young entertainers, regardless of if they are singing traditional soca, bashment soca, what party soca, whatever it is, they must see the opportunity that those before us had. We see so many of our entertainers, Lil Red, remember they call him Lil Red, Alison Hines, all of them who would have benefited, sir, from having a Soca Monarch. This is about opportunity. This is about giving our artists, our writers, our performers, and our people something big to rally around, sir.
International news now. Settled. DOJ pays Michael Flynn $1.2 million over Russia probe prosecution led by the Democrats during Biden's time in office. The settlement concludes Flynn's lawsuit alleging wrongful prosecution by FBI leadership during the Mueller investigation. DOJ called the agreement an important step in redressing what it described as a historic injustice, and they're 100% correct about that. Many other individuals that were wrongfully imprisoned under the Biden administration should also be compensated from years of being imprisoned, incarcerated, for what? For just simply entering what? The Capitol building. They didn't commit any sort of act of violence, unlike a lot of Antifa individuals commit all the time. They were just at the wrong place at the wrong time. They were unwise to enter the Capitol building. They should have never done so. But it caused them to end up being imprisoned because of that. That was wrong. That was ridiculous. But that's, of course, what the Democrats do. They are very double standard. They imprison people. They target their opponents. And then when they're in opposition, they claim that they are being targeted. Churches and ministries are gearing up, convinced that God is about to do something big in Iran. Outside the borders, Christians are praying and getting ready for the day, maybe sooner than we think, when Iran's doors are finally to the gospel, or open to the gospel. Inside Iran, Christians are praying for God to step in and bring freedom to their country. They're still gathering and they're still praying. And I think they are a lot more cautious now said Vision Beyond Borders President Patrick Klein. Now, the thing about it is, even if there's some sort of temporary freedom in Iran, these Christians, our brothers and sisters in America and so forth, and around the world need to understand and read Ezekiel 38. And Mr. Fati speaks about this all the time. The Jewish Christian from Israel and teacher. He said he's not a preacher, but he is a teacher. And he says, read Ezekiel 38 and you will understand that at some point in time in the future, probably most likely the near future, Iran will join the kings of the north, including Russia, to attack Israel again. But this time, America won't be there to protect Israel and work along with Israel to defend their sovereignty. This time, God Almighty, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, will intervene on the behalf of his people and conquer Israel's enemies. Iran has reinforced Kag Island with troops, air defenses, and mines preparing for a potential U.S. ground operation. Well, you know who's going to end up meeting their 72 virgins very soon. U.S. officials warn of high risks, including heavy casualties due to layered defenses and recent deployments of Iranian man pads and anti-armor mines. Well, at the end of the day, the Iranians made it clear to Trump, we don't want peace. So, don't come and complain now, the jihadist supporters, don't come and complain that Trump only wants war, because once again, he gave them another opportunity. But you see, jihadists never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity. They have been given opportunities to make peace with Israel and America since 1948. And these jihadists in the Palestinian area, in so-called Palestinian area, the West Bank, the so-called West Bank, and Gaza, have been refusing to make peace with Israel since 1948. Each time Israel tries to make peace with them, they start another war. For the third time within a week, the Kuwaiti Interior Ministry announced that again, a Hezbollah cell operating in its territory was caught, this time in a plot to assassinate senior officials in the country. You see what I'm telling you? Jihadists in Trinidad and Tobago don't actually listen to news and watch news. All they listen to is Al Jazeera and CNN. When you will never hear that type of news on those channels, where they attack their own Arab people. That's what jihadists do best. Hezbollah terrorist group, Houthis, the Ayatollah, Hamas in Gaza. According to the official statement, it was a network that included Kuwaitis, Lebanese, and Iranians, including Kuwaitis who had their citizenship revoked in the past, some of whom underwent training by Hezbollah terrorists outside the country. And surprisingly, it turns out that Hezbollah is defined as a banned organization according to Kuwaiti law. I wonder what the local jihadists here in Trinidad and Tobago have to say about that. An Arab country identifies Hezbollah as terrorists, but you consider them to be freedom fighters. Now for the interesting facts segment, Barbara Soper of Michigan experienced an incredibly rare coincidence, giving birth to 3 children on perfectly matching dates. August 8, 2008, September 9, 2009, and October 10, 2010. Each delivery happened naturally, making the sequence even more remarkable. Statistically, so it wasn't like a C-section or anything like that. So statistically, the chances of this occurring are estimated at about 1 in 50 million. Stories like this capture attention across the U.S., showing how unpredictable and fascinating real life can be. For one family, those perfectly timed births become a once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon.
Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News Travel Adventures. Picaco Peak State Park, located off I-10 between Phoenix and Tucson, is a premier Arizona destination known for its 1,500-foot volcanic peak, challenging cable-assisted hiking trails, and stunning spring wildflowers. Open year-round, it offers camping, RV sites, historical insights into a Civil War battle, and scenic Sonoran desert views. Key highlights and activities. Hiking, the 2-mile Hunter Trail leads to the summit, featuring steep, exposed sections with cables for support, while the Sunset Vista Trail offers a 3-mile, slightly less steep alternative. Camping and amenities, the park features a well-maintained campground with RV hookups, picnic areas, a visitor center with exhibits, and a playground. Spring wildflowers, typically from mid-February to mid-March, the park fills with Mexican gold poppies, California poppies, and lupin. History and events, visit the site of the westernmost Civil War battle and enjoy annual events like the Civil War reenactment or ranger-led hikes. Important tips. Best time to visit, fall through spring is ideal, summer hiking is not recommended due to extreme heat according to the Visit Arizona website. Preparation, bring plenty of water 2 to 4 liters per person, wear proper hiking boots and consider gloves for the cables, says the Arizona State Parks website. Hope you enjoyed today's video and we'll see you again tomorrow as our journey around the world continues.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's headline news. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.